Dear fans of Bitcoin, something exciting has happened. 2 days after the 15-year anniversary, after the first ever Bitcoin was mined, an unknown person transferred 27 Bitcoins to Satoshi Nakamoto's wallet address. The person reportedly bought the Bitcoins at the crypto exchange Binance and sent it to Satoshi Nakamoto's wallet address. For those who are unfamiliar with the name Satoshi Nakamoto is a person or organization that is behind creating Bitcoin. He is behind all the technology that we know now today. And he's also behind the famous white paper, Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. This white paper outlines Bitcoin's functions and implementations. And also Nakamoto is behind mining the first ever Bitcoin, the so-called Genesis block, which sets the foundation of the Bitcoin blockchain that we know now today. At that time, the Bitcoin mining reward for the first block was 50 Bitcoins. And Nakamoto himself was the one who did it at January 3rd, 2009. However, just in 2010, Nakamoto disappeared completely and is still unknown today. However, the technology he left behind set the foundations for many cryptocurrencies that we know now today. That's why Bitcoin is also called the grandfather of all cryptocurrencies. However, the recent transfer sparked a couple of rumors. There are a couple of different theories why this transfer was made. One is that it's just a prank. Well, for me, this seems very unlikely, as first of all, it would be a very expensive prank, as 27 Bitcoins are over 1.1 million. Also, it's very unlikely for me, as there's a specific log time set in the transaction. A log time means that only after a specific amount of blocks have passed, the transaction can be put in the blockchain. This indicates even more that there are some real thoughts behind it. Another theory is that Nakamoto will actually return, but for me, this seems even more unlikely, as why would he return now? Well, of course, at the moment, the SEC is dealing with the ETF approvals, and if they would be approved, of course, the ETFs, this would hinder Bitcoin's decentralization. It would be just a couple of organizations holding most of Bitcoin. But even if it would be his plan to deny that, how can he really do it? I mean, the most he can do is just encourage people to hold Bitcoin, but there is no way of fighting the SEC. So my best bet is that it's just a reminder from a person that has made a lot of money. Well, the journey of Bitcoin started at 2009. When the first ever Bitcoin was mined, the first ever Bitcoin set the foundation for the Bitcoin blockchain and allowed a lot of people to make a lot of money. So I think it's just a reminder to say thank you to Satoshi Nakamoto. However, this still leaves the question, why was it 27 Bitcoins exactly? Well, of course, we can't answer that with 100% certainty, of course, but it is likely something behind the scenes, something that has a deeper meaning. And my bet is that it's basically a numbers play, as starting with the Bitcoin Genesis block, which gave a mining reward of 50. It could be something like the mining reward 50 divided by 2, thanks to the Bitcoin halving, which divides the mining rewards by 2. The Bitcoin halving is just around the corner. And plus 2, because it was 2 days later, that there was 2 days after the 15-year anniversary. But of course, this is just a guess. It can be something completely different, something that we absolutely don't know. So finally, a transaction of over 1.1 million is unlikely to be a prank, also because of the log time that was specifically set. The log time that only allowed the transaction to be put into the blockchain after a certain amount of blocks have passed. Also, when looking at the transactions, there were only 4 transactions made, and they were all made this year on the 5th, 6th, and 7th of January, which indicates further that there were some real thoughts behind it, and it was most likely not a prank. Also, I think it's very unlikely that Nakamoto will return, as there is no real way that he could stop the SEC, so to speak. But of course, I could be completely wrong. Do you think that the SEC is the reason Nakamoto could be planning to come back? Do you agree with me that it could be the case that just some people want to say thank you to him? Or do you think it's something completely different? I will see you in the next video.